I want you to imagine a scenario in your head. You're back in your old childhood home from when you were 8 or so. You wake up in your room after falling asleep with your TV on. It's dark outside. Cartoon Network's still on since it's winter, but they are getting ready to switch to Adult Swim. Courage the Cowardly Dog just finished whatever horrors it inflicted onto your sleeping self and is now at the end credits. It's mildly unnerving since kids don't really know what end credits are, but everything seems fine. Then, just as Eustace screams at Courage one last time, the credits cut out and this appears on your screen. This is not an uncommon childhood scenario. A kid seeing something on their TV that just scared them to death. Whether it be a logo, station identification, commercial, or just part of the show itself. What I just described was one of my childhood terrors. Along with the Pharaoh's Curse and Lumpy the Clown. We'll get to him later. Anyway, the idea of scary logos is interesting to me. These were the calling cards of companies that unintentionally scared the shit out of a generation or two of TV watching youngsters. Now, a lot of people are wondering, why would people be so scared of something so benign? Well, the secret is that these logos were only really scary when you were a kid. Naturally, kids are a lot more sensitive than adults. Especially when it comes to the unknown. They don't know why there's a mouth laughing at you. They just know that there's a mouth laughing at you, and that puts the shits up them. Like it did me. It's not helping that these were often viewed in the dark by kids who fell asleep with the TV on. The BBC's home video logo from 1990 is a prime example of this. The music already feels desolate with the ethereal piano and choir, but the full effect is really enhanced by the darkness. It unintentionally taps into fears of the dark and the fear of the unknown. Why are there lights forming the lines of the BBC logo? Of course the American equivalent is much older. It's this PBS logo from 1971. It has music that sounds very alien since it came from an early Moog synthesizer, and a dark background going for it, which viewed in a dark room can scare the shit out of you. Not helping matters is the fact that the music comes out of nowhere, which means it's liable to make you wake up screaming like you were Nancy Thompson or something. And of course, there's another component to childhood fear: sudden loud noises. I remember one cousin I had scaring me by hiding around a corner, then screaming when I turned around to it. Being alone in a room with someone going, "Ah!" at you is a guaranteed way to scare someone. The kids of Yorkshire in the 1970s and early 80s know a lot about that. Yorkshire Television's ident was pretty much uncompromising, only fading or popping in and belting out a loud and brash rendition of On Lika Bo Matat, the unofficial anthem of Yorkshire that I probably butchered. Loud noises coming out of nowhere is a good way to make kids fear your logo forever. Channel 4's first ident managed to scare lots of kids in the UK. Their fanfare, Fourscore, composed by David Dundas, was loud and proud. Although a lot of kids have interpreted this as angry. Channel 4 was absolutely livid at the child for something far too terrifying to contemplate, at least according to the kid. Another logo that could be described as angry is the infamous Viacom V of Doom, described by the Museum of Classic Chicago Television as the logo that launched 1,000 mid-afternoon nightmares. The V of Doom is one of the most well-known, scary logos out there, and if you look at it through the viewpoint of a child, it's not hard to see why. The music sounds ominous and even threatening. especially when you're a kid. It feels like Viacom is running towards you like Jason Voorhees, with only the cut to black saving you from a machete sticking you through your gut. Future partner Paramount Television had a similar angry logo known as the Closet Killer, as the music sounds straight from a mid-60s action film death scene. Although Paramount might have felt that being actively hostile to the viewers in their logo might not be a good look, so they soon replaced it with a more chipper and up-tempo soundtrack that they used until the mid-80s. Of course, early synthesizer music has a tendency to freak kids out. A good example of this is Screen Gems and their famous S from Hell. That early synth music, which sounds like it has its nose plugged up, freaked out many kids, as seen in the mockumentary film about the old logo. Arranged by Eric Sade from a composition by Van Alexander and played on one of the very early Moog synthesizers, it felt very alien to kids both at the time and growing up with the logo coming up in reruns. And they weren't really knowing what they were hearing because synthesizers weren't really a thing and wouldn't be a thing until arguably the 80s. And of course, studios continued to use synthesizer music during the 70s and 80s because budgets were getting slashed everywhere, and hiring an entire orchestra to play a 5-second tune for most companies was out of the question. But sometimes you get a logo that will creep out a kid because of no music whatsoever. CBS Video was known for having no music, as well as Nickelodeon's home video logos. While this did creep some kids out, no logo was as creepy, at least to me, than Paramount's movie logos. For the longest time, before 2012, for whatever reason, Paramount's logos had no music whatsoever. Except on very rare occasions, the logo would form up and complete to absolute silence, whether it be the Blue Mountain, the first CGI stars, or the second CGI stars for the 90th anniversary. This creeped me out back whenever I saw the SpongeBob SquarePants movie or Jimmy Neutron growing up. It felt like there should have been music, should have been anything, even sound effects, but there wasn't. It was kind of freaky. While we've covered a lot of the sources of childhood terror, the biggest source of that comes from faces. Humans have a tendency to recognize faces in places that aren't there, but of course, this can be used to trick, deceive, and even scare you. It's called the uncanny valley, and I'm not even sure what the hell I'm talking about, so don't take this seriously. Take Veed, one of the first independent television companies in what was then the Russian Soviet Socialist Republic, part of the USSR. Their logo consists of the mask of Chinese Taoist philosopher Guo Zhang. I know I messed that up. Combined with the music and sound effects, which were reportedly chosen to be scary as all hell, and it was scary as all hell. Of course, if you want freaky faces, Nickelodeon has a few. I'm bringing up Viacom properties a lot in this video, whatever. But yeah, they were known for a few freaky faces, but none have stuck in the public consciousness quite as well as Klasky Csupo's Splat. This is probably the most famous scary logo in my generation, and it's not hard to see why. A thing made out of paper pieces says the name of the company and then leaves as quickly as it got there. It was enough to scare the balls off a generation of kids. The Splat thrives off of many kids' fears, mainly the fear of the unknown, the fear that something is almost right, but isn't. That uncanny feeling you get when you see humanoid robots and the like. The same principle is working here, I think, I don't know. Even if Arlene Klasky has said that it wasn't meant to be scary. It worked out for Splat, however, as he is one of only 2 logos to get an animated series based off of them that I know of. There might be more, I don't know. The other one being the lion hearts from MGM, which, oddly enough, is also based on a logo that is well known for scaring little kids, as random YouTube videos from vaguely sadistic parents show. MGM can also be described as an angry logo, since it's a lion roaring at you, and looking like he would much rather eat you alive than sit inside a circle and scream. Of course, we'd be here all day if we listed all the logos that felt vaguely threatening to downright terrifying when we were kids. Those are just some of the more well-known terrors out there. It's fun to look back on things that scared the crap out of us when we were kids, especially little things like logos and commercials. It makes us pine for the days when we could fear a face made out of paper instead of dying from a preventable disease because we couldn't afford it because of healthcare. Anyway, I'm Rusty Ralston, and don't play with fireworks this bonfire nights.
There's a child whose life has changed in the last year. He's given up football because he can't see the ball too well. He can't cross the road alone because he can't be sure it's clear. And he won't see much of the fireworks this year because last year a firework was thrown and blew up in his face. Somewhere there are other children whose lives are going to be changed. Will one of them be your child?